The Washo, also known as Wašišiw, those from here, are a Native American tribe from the Great Basin who reside close to Lake Tahoe on the California-Nevada border. In previous writings, this name was transliterated as Wa She Shu. The Washo autonym wašiw or Wašišiw, the plural form of wašiw, is the source of the names Washo and Washo, as they prefer. Washo people have lived in the Great Basin and the eastern Sierra Nevada mountains for at least the last 6,000 years, some say up to 9,000 years or more. Prior to contact with Europeans, the territory of the Washo people centered around Lake Tahoe and was roughly bounded by the southern shore of Honey Lake in the north, the West Walker River, Topaz Lake, and Sonora Pass in the south, the Sierra Nevada crest in the west, and the Pine Nut Mountains and Virginia Range in the east. The Washo used the Sierra Valley, a location of vast freshwater marshes with cattails, bulrushes, and alkaline flats that flow into the Middle Fork Feather River, to the north and the upper ranges of the Carson, Truckee, and West Walker Rivers to the east of Lake Tahoe. The Washo would typically spend the fall in the eastern mountains, the winter and spring in the valleys between them, and the summer in the Sierra Nevada, particularly near Lake Tahoe. They inspired the name of Washoe Lake. The Washo were informally split into four according to other accounts, regional groupings that spoke somewhat distinct dialects. These groups were further subdivided into nuclear families and cooperative extended families that lived together in winter camps and cooperatively hunted during the season. Few individuals were grouped into the western group since the western portion of the Washoe region was in the mountains and frequently snowed over. It is thought that the Washo people lived in the Great Basin before nearby tribes since they are the only group whose language is not Numic. Early Washo civilization is said to have originated with the Kings Beach complex, which arose near Lake Tahoe in the northern Sierra Nevada approximately 500 CE. It's possible that the Martis complex and the Kings Beach culture overlapped, and the conical bark slab homes of the ancient Washo culture replaced the Martis pit dwellings. Although the Washo may have interacted with Spanish explorers in the early 1800s, it wasn't until the California Gold Rush in 1848 that they continued to interact with Europeans. The final military battle between the Washos and non-Indians was the Potato War of 1857, in which hungry Washos were slain for collecting potatoes from a European-American farm near Honey Lake in California. The Washos' resistance to encroachment on their grounds proved fruitless. The majority of Washingtonians became dependent on work on white ranches, farms, and in cities as a result of the loss of the valley hunting grounds to farms and the pinyon pine trees to meet Virginia City's demand for charcoal and timber. Their settlements were referred to as Indian colonies. A large portion of the winter diet was made from pinyon pine nuts that were collected in the fall. The majority of the food consumed for the remainder of the year came from berries, seeds, and roots. Additionally, the Washo people had extensive knowledge of their area and its abundant resources. Understanding the seasonal cycles of both plants and animals was part of this. The Wašiw also relied on fishing in the nearby streams in Lake Tahoe. Before contact with Western culture led to commercial fishing in the area, the Wašiw relied heavily on fishing, and each family had its own fishing grounds. This destroyed another valuable resource for the Wašiw. Girls' puberty rituals, including the pine nut dance, are still highly significant traditions. In the past, the Washiw people depended on medicine men and their expertise in rituals and medicinal herbs. Contact with the Western world has resulted in the loss of a large portion of this knowledge and activities. The legends that explained many aspects of life were the main foundation of Washo culture. Through storytelling, the tales were passed down from one generation to the next, and younger generations were taught the fundamentals of Washo culture. Youngsters could learn about medicine preparation and collecting methods, and the stories were intended to help them better understand Washo culture and educate them to love the environment they lived on. Children were brought up in a culture that prized family above all else. Cooperation and togetherness were important to Washo life, and in order for the tribal culture to endure, elder tribe members had to pass on their wisdom to the younger generation. Every family member played a specific function in daily activities, including hunting, fishing, and collecting, which made it easier for the Washo people to do daily chores more quickly. The three methods of obtaining food in the Washoe people's region of habitation are hunting, gathering, and fishing. People were often taught in a single field since each method needed specialized knowledge and abilities, which decreased the likelihood that they would fail the duties they were in charge of. As a result, the Washoe tribe's existence depended on the real environmental conditions. The Washoe people classified their way of life into three distinct seasons: the fishing year, the gathering year, and the hunting year, since they could not do all of their activities simultaneously due to a lack of resources. Fall was the most abundant food season of the year since it was possible to gather food in any method. Due to the rapid depletion of food supplies and the near-complete lack of food available during the coldest months of the year, the winter months were a time of famine. However, by learning to make use of the resources the earth had provided, the Washoe people were able to survive the most difficult season of the year. Since every method of collecting food was equally important for these people to exist, they recognized they had to maintain equilibrium. The pre-colonial Washoe people had gender equality because men and women worked together to gather food, resulting in no individual distributions of food and relatively little difference in male and female rights, according to anthropologist Ernestine Friedel. Although the Washoe language is sometimes provisionally considered to be a member of the contentious Hokan language family, it has always been considered a linguistic isolation. The Latin script is used to write the language. Because so few senior speakers are proficient in it, the Wašiw language is currently regarded as moribund. Within the tribe, the language and culture have recently been revived. The Washiw people's first attempt to revitalize their language for future generations was Washiw Wagayai Mangal, the house where Washiw is spoken. Currently, the tribe provides language instruction to the community through the Tribal Cultural Resource Department. The kids are now the main focus of language and cultural activities. Nevertheless, as a result of a recent pedagogical change within the tribe. Having lived on the lake and its environs for thousands of years, the Washoe people are regarded as the original residents of the Lake Tahoe region. Being the original occupants, they think they know best how to care for the land and see themselves as the rightful custodians of the Lake Tahoe region, which has served as a focal point for the annual cultural meetings of the Washoe tribes and the site of the majority of traditional festivities. The Washoe tribe of Nevada and California was formally given possession of the land surrounding Lake Tahoe for cultural purposes by the Committee on Energy and Natural Resources in 2002. The colonies in the Carson Valley region of Nevada and California were recognized by the federal government as the Washoe tribe of Nevada and California in 1934 as a result of the Indian Reorganization Act. The Reno-Sparks Indian Colony, located in Reno, Nevada, which is also home to a sizable Paiute, Washoe, and Shoshone population, was granted independent status. There is proof that some Washoe people made their home in Montana's southwest. Members of the Washoe, Northern Paiute, Northeastern Maidu, Achomawi, and Atsugewi tribes are all part of the Susanville Rancheria.